The garage today, we're going to continue on the car guy with a boat, will it float series. This is a Mercury 50 outboard engine, and we're going to get it up on our built-in engine hoist that we have in the attic of our garage here. And we're going to transfer it from the transom onto my engine stand. And here you see my engine stand. Currently I use it as a mobile metalworking station with my welder and my vise. We're going to take all that off and we're going to use it as an engine stand properly and mount an actual engine on it. Now, one of the things we need to do in order to get to that is we need to make a transom. This is designed to be mounted on a flat piece of wood like this. And you can see I don't have something like that on my engine stand. So I got some scrap 2x6 and a little bit of plywood. We're going to make a dummy transom and mount it to the engine stand. All right, so that's the first task to get busy on. Bob's your uncle. Now you see I've used this piece of plywood for that kind of thing before. Now we can just set it up in the engine stand there. We're going to mount a couple of holes in here. I think the bottom holes on the engine I want to match up with here. So we'll just put the 2 bolts in the top, and then we'll match it up so that the 2 bolts from the engine will match up kind of where they're going to go. We'll drill those when we get the engine mounted. So 2 holes. I gotta get all that stuff off of my engine stand. Here's a little inside trick. See these screws are they're star screws. They have a star pattern, and they come with a bit. So when you want to use these screws again, I just put the bit back in the box. That way it's available when I need it. Alright, so here you can see I've got it kind of lined up. You can see where it kind of matches up with the transom. The idea here is we want to make sure that when we put it on here, it's high enough that we have a clearance for the bottom or the propeller and everything. We don't want any of that to be dragging on the ground, so we can actually run the engine while it's on the stand. So this is just a little bit higher, and I'm okay with that. The other thing is I took some measurements. The measurement between the top of the transom and this bolt right here is 9 1/4 inches, and from here to here, sorry, from here to here is 9 1/4. So if I drilled a hole, it would go right through this. I can't get that hole to match up here, so we're going to go ahead and pop the bottom hole right on the edge right here, and then the top holes, there's not actually a hole, it's just going to clamp on the top, so that'll all be good. So we don't have to worry about matching up those holes. I can go ahead and bolt these in right as they are, and we'll be good to go. All right, so here's something that doesn't compute between car guys and boat guys. This is a stainless steel bolt, and I dropped one down in there. I tried to pull it out with my magnet. Huzzah! Stainless steel is not necessarily magnetic. So that's going to be a little bit of trouble. I have to reach down mechanically and get that one. But it's one of those things that car guy would expect, that a bolt would be magnetic, but it won't. So we're pulling this cable off right here. I'm going to probably end up getting another cover for this. But this cable is the ignition and ground and starter solenoid cables. So we're just going to go ahead and disconnect all these posts that are appropriate and get moving from there. All right, so I've got all the accoutrement disconnected, the throttle and the transmission linkage. Got the ignition and starter linkage all disconnected, so the engine is free floating. I've removed the screws on the bottom and loosened the screws on the top, so it's just kind of hanging there right now. You see, normally the standard practice is to get a puller with a loop on it and pull it from the flywheel, but I don't have one of those. Car guy doing a boat, not going to have the special tools, going to do without the special tools. So what I do have is chain, and that's very typical for a car guy to have chain to pull engines in and out. I have a number of different sizes of chain, and so I've got it chained up. These mounting points seem pretty straight to me. When you move the engine in and out, back and forth, you are mounting or pulling it from these sections, so it seems kind of logical. I'm going to go ahead and lift it up and see if we can get it above the transom. And then we'll slide our pseudo transom into place. We got it free. Freewheeling. Okay, I'm free of the boat at this point. Let me pull the chock so that I can push the boat forward a little bit. Okay, the only thing I have left to do is to pull the rest of the steering linkage out. It's halfway through. It just needs to have a little bit of extra space. So once we get the free flowing, we'll pull it this way and everything will separate. All right, so we're above the transom and the boat's loose. Should be able to just give it a push. Here we are. Motor floating in space. Okay, there's the last of the steering linkage right there. Oops. That's always good to have. This had a spare bung connected to catch in case you lose yours. You can plug the hole in the bottom. All right, let's get this turned around and get it on the engine hoist or on the engine stand. A little bit higher up. Get it down. Come on, bud. All right. We are seated. Sort of. The engine stand is holding it. Let's get this thing tightened down. All right, so there we go. Got this thing all mounted. We're going to do a quick summary and go over some of the things I kind of breezed over just to clarify and lessons learned kind of thing, so you can if you're following the video, you can learn the lessons that I made while going through this. First of all, when I was taking off the engine and trying to mount it onto my pseudo transom here, if you recall, there was an angle issue here in that the motor was kind of twisted funny, and it was hard for me to get this flat surface to match up with the angled surface here. Well, what I overlooked was this little pin right here. It was set to this trim level right up in here. You can see it's kind of worn. That's where it used to be. And so when I pulled this pin out, it has a little anchor on the other end, so it's not real easy to do. But when I pulled this pin out, then the whole motor moved back down, and then it was back to level again. So, you know, learning, when I do this again, I'm sure I probably will do it again. We'll pull this off the boat periodically to do winter service and things like that. But I'll remember to pull this pin and just leave it out while I'm jacking with it. That gives you the ability to move this thing freely while the motor is being suspended. The motor is on a pivot right here. And so when this pin is in position, it's going to set this mounting plate at a specific angle. So anyway, this is the trim pin, and it was set up here, and it made it a little more difficult for me to get this thing vertical. But that's just lessons learned kind of thing. The next thing I want to cover is how I got the throttle and shifter linkage off. And let me zoom in on this. There's this little area right in here, and where the little clips connect back in here. I'm going to throw a little bit of detail on that so that you can, if you're trying to take the throttle cable off, you'll have an easier time on it. So let me change my camera angle here so we can get a better look at those. So getting these cables out, they come in right through this little hole right here. And the first thing you'll notice is this little screw right here. It holds in this mounting plate. That mounting plate will secure these little spring-loaded dealy bobbers. These are spring-loaded, and they have a little key pin on them that when you're looking at the ends of where these are received, that pin slides in this direction, right? But when it's in place, it's 90 degrees off, so it holds itself in place. So when you remove that little bracket, then you're able to move these up and down to get them 90 degrees off, and then you'll be able to slide them right out. And that's how you are going to release this portion of it. Is you got to turn these 90 degrees so that they'll go out of that little hole. See a little T, and then you'll be free on this end. But the next thing you have to worry about is where it's connected on the pin. I got my light in the way here, but you can see on the one, it has this little bracket. Let's see if I can get it to focus. That little metal bracket right there will slide out of place. Oh, come on. There we go. That little metal bracket it slides, and that little pin right there will become exposed, and then you'll be able to pop that cable off. That little bracket, this little slide pin right here, it has, dang it, I can't focus. It has a little lip on it, so you can pull that back out of place. You can see it on the back side here. But that slides out, and that exposes that pin, and then easy enough, that one comes off. But the next one's a little tricky. You'll see on this little section right here that the pin is horizontal and not vertical. That right there is this right here is where that pin connects. Right there. Let me put the light on. There we go. That little pin right there is where that connects. Well, you can see there's a connector right here. Well, this is spring-loaded. See that? And so if you pull that back part of the spring, this you can actually turn this 90 degrees like that, and huzzah, now the pin is accessible. Do you see how that worked? So this little spring holds it in place when it's in the right orientation, and then if you turn it 90 degrees, then it becomes available to pull that last cable off. That's a throttle cable right there. So that was kind of a complicated little series of you can see both pins in the same view. It took a little doing to figure out, but it didn't seem real logical. But once I started wiggling things around, I was able to find out how to do that. So short track that, learn from me. Don't try to break anything while you're doing it. Just slide those things out of place, and they'll render themselves available for you. A quick summary of what we did here: we pulled the 50 horsepower Mercury off the back of the boat, made a dummy tramson, and mounted it on our engine stand, so that we can work on this with the boat in the storage. I don't have to have the boat connected to the engine to work on the engine. The next thing we're going to work on, and I'll probably do another video on, is rigging it for remote control. We're going to use this little section of the engine stand to mount that control bracket right there, so that we can run it. I have to hook up a hose, but because it's water cooled. But that'll be the next little video that we'll go over on this. I'm going to clean up the carburetors, going to check the spark plugs, just do all the common maintenance things. Just want to have a good level of confidence when I get this out on the water. All right, that's all I got on this topic. Cheers.